Hey y'all. So I just got done watching Impact Sacrifice on Impact Plus. And as good as the sources was, I kinda did want to talk about the main event. But I'm gonna talk about the Red Soul some too. The, the main event, this was incredible. This was with Rich Swann, the Impact World Champion, versus Smooth, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, in a unification bout. And not only that, but whoever won that match would get a side of greatness. More greatness, would get a side of more greatness, more history when they face the AWO champion Kenny Omega in a title for title match. AW champion versus the Impact World champion. Title for title on an Impact stage. I mean, that is gonna be, no matter who won this match, that was gonna be a good match. I will say I'm sort of puzzled to Rich though, because I think that styles would complement each other. I think Rich and Kenny styles would complement each other rather than Moose and Omega's. But I'll talk about this match. This match was great. The rest of the show was good. It was good. We had some new champions and all that. This match showed you why the two men are at the very top of their division. This match, I'm not gonna go through move for move, I'm just gonna go through some of the big spots. This match started off about how you would expect Rich kind of charges that Moose sort of pie faces him. We get a great bit of strategy that comes into play at the end. Rich Swann gets Moose outside the ring. I forget how he does it, but he gets Moose outside of the ring. And he just starts slamming him into turnbuckle after turnbuckle, slamming his shoulder into turnbuckle after turnbuckle. I thought that was great. That was just a great bit of strategy. We had some gates, we had some near falls, we had a yard of near falls. We had a yard of counter wrestling, a yard of catch can wrestling. At one point, Rich Swann has a fury of offense, a fury of kick, a fury of punches. He comes off the rope with kind of a back spring, and Mooch catches him with the humongous boot to the spine that just drops him. And then after that, this was incredible. I'm describing it, but I highly recommend you go back and watch this match. We had Rich Swann face down, Moose going up top for moonsault, and as he's coming off, Rich brings up, competes his handspring, and catches him with the cutter. That was one of the moves of the night. One of the moves of this match. There was the other good few moves in this match. At another point, we had Swann and Moose batting on the top rope, and Swann eventually elbows or punches Moose off the ropes and Moose falls, but Swann is just so exhausted he can't capitalize like he normally would. So we get a few minutes of that, and I say to myself, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Moose pop up and hit finisher there, or signature, whatever you want to call it. And we did kind of see that, but what we saw was better than that. Moose sprang up as Rich was coming up. Moose sprang up off the mat, jumped to the top turnbuckle, and flung with Swann with the fallaway slam, but he rolled with it so he was on his feet. I mean, that to me was incredible. I saw Moose when he came into Impact about 4 or 5 years ago, whenever 2016, 2017 was, and I saw him come in, and he was impressive for a big man. His feud when he first came in was against Bobby Lashley, and I said, okay, that's gonna destroy this kid. I mean, this guy can't yet with Lashley, who's the new W champion, by the way. Can't yet with Lashley, and to Impact credit, he didn't yet with Lashley, but I thought, mate, I want to see Bobby Lashley go one-on-one with this Moose. Because as much as I love Bobby, and I do, and he's had a dominant run for all of WWE's fault, he's really had a dominant run. I don't know who'd come out on top. I want to say Bobby, but I like I said, I want to see that match, but I think it's gonna remain a dream match for now, indeed for me. So, I said at the beginning of the match that Rich Swann pummeling Moose into the turnbuckles, into all 4 turnbuckles was gonna come in at the end, and it did. Off the spot I just mentioned when Moose rang up and flung him down with fallaway Sam, he sets up for the Isaac Spear. Swann moves out of the way and he catches the soda on the ring post. He tries for another one. Swann moves, catches the soda in the ring post. He tried for a third one. Now Moose has placed a chair in this turnbuckle. When Swann moves, Moose's shoulder just collides with the chair. Just collides with the chair. And then off the back of that, Swann tried for a roll-up. Swann tried for, not a roll-up. Swann tried for like a sunset flip type move off except he didn't come off the top rope. He just tried for sunset flip on Moose, whatever you call that. But then Swann's underneath him. Moose grabs him in the choke position and just bring them up to himself, and I'm like, oh man, that's gotta be so disheartening. He flings them over to the other turnbuckle, sets up for the Isaac Spear. Swann goes over top of him and catches him with crucifix pin. 1, 2, 3. And Rich Swann is your new TNA Impact World Champion. I don't know what they're going to rename the belt, but like I said, this match was fantastic. Matt Striker has the eye of the night talking about Rich's mom, looking down on him from heaven and all that. And I just thought that was great. That was a really emotional crescendo, emotional centerpiece for the whole story. For everything that Rich has gone through to come to this moment. That was just a real feel-good moment in wrestling. You don't get a lot of feel-good moments nowadays in wrestling, but that was a feel-good of a moment as I've ever seen. Now, I love you, Rich. I respect everything you've done. Yeah, if I tried to do what you do, I'd probably break my back or something. But as much as I love and respect you, Kenny taking that title. I mean, can we all agree? Kenny just taking that title at Rebellion? Nothing against you, Swan. Nothing against you, Rich. But when you step up to the very epitome of pro wrestling, just as Kenny Omega is, you can't go any other way with it. For those that have said that, AEW partnering with Impact or Impact partnering with other promotions is a bad thing, first of all, what's wrong with you? And second of all, no, it's not. It's promotions teaming up with other promotions is what wrestling was ultimately built on. I mean, the territory days you had, but in the territory days, you had some promotions teaming together, and that was a big event. It's the same here, because can you imagine Kenny Omega going one-on-one with Eddie Edwards, or Kenny Omega going one-on-one with Moose, or vice versa? Maybe someone from Impact, maybe someone from AEW steps up to Impact. Maybe we're gonna see Eddie Kingston versus Moose. Maybe we're gonna see Andy Archer versus Moose. Any combination of guys, the Bucks versus the Good Brothers. I mean, or the Molson Machine Gun. Any combination of guys would ultimately be a benefit for pro wrestling as a whole. Because I say if you're a pure wrestling fan and you're not a WB only fan, which if you are, I would like that myself for a while, but if you're a WB only fan, then you're missing out on something special, because these partnerships with AAA and Impact and AEW and New Japan, they are what's gonna sustain pro wrestling and move it into the future. It's not just one promotion, it's a series of promotions partnering up for just the sake of, for just the solid pure love of pro wrestling. I mean, that's what's ultimately gonna sustain, and that's what's ultimately gonna keep the wrestling business going. It can't be under one umbrella, cause one promotion does things they can do something entirely different than another promotion, or vice versa, or maybe a wrestling styles mess, but they're in different promotions, so you're like, oh man, this is a dream match, but I don't know if it will really happen. With these partnerships, and hopefully you will get even more partnerships in pro wrestling, these matches can happen. The possibilities are endless. And who knows? It's very possible that these partnerships and different wrestlers coming together and working different matches, they can bring in kind of the casual audience that a lot of that some people in the wrestling community think are the end all be all. I mean, they're not, but they think they are the end all be all anyway. But anyway, I've been talking for too long. This was a great pay-per-view. In addition to the new TNA World Champion, we have a new X Division champion in Austin Aries, a new Impact Tag Team champion in Finjuice, in David Finney and Juice Robinson. So it is just gonna be phenomenal. I cannot wait to see in the coming years how wrestling evolves from this and how wrestling just brings more people in through what they're doing. Well, like I said, I'm talking for too long. Sacrifice 2021 is in the books. It was a great pay-per-view. The eyes of the wrestling world are gonna be on Rebellion to see what happens between Kenny Omega and Rich Swann. Guys, have a good night.